Hey guys, video game music composer, former Intellivision CEO, and Video Games Live co-founder Tommy Tallarico has resurfaced on social media. He made a long Facebook post just recently. Let's go over it a little bit here and see if he mentions anything about the Intellivision Amico. What do you think? Let's check it out. All right, Tommy Tallarico is feeling blessed. September 16th. I haven't posted on social media in about 2.5 years. The loss of my father sent me into a downward spiral of crippling depression. First time I've ever experienced anything like that. Now, I know what it's like to lose a father. I lost my dad about 10 years ago. And yeah, I was very depressed for, gosh, a long time. As a matter of fact, the first month after his passing, I could do little more than just the very necessities, going to work and eating and sleeping and that kind of thing. And I spent a lot of time just sitting around or lying in bed watching The Wonder Years, a show that reminds me of my family growing up. So I get that. I don't think something like that could ever get a hold of me. Now, I understand that too. I had a friend who never got depressed until he had serious problems in his 20s with his current relationship with his girlfriend. Had some real issues there, and prior to that he had never really experienced depression, so I get that. But it did. It took me almost 2 years to recover, and I still feel like I'm in a healing stage. Since my father's passing, I started religiously studying backgammon to take my mind out of the dark state it was in. My father and I played throughout my life, and we played together in his final months when he couldn't get out of bed anymore. Some of his final words to me were reminding me what a wonderful life we both had and that I can do anything I put my mind to. We had just finished playing a game of backgammon, and he said, "Take backgammon, for example. I know that if you really put your mind to it, you could be world champion someday." After his passing, I made it my mission to study as hard as possible. So he goes on to talk about how he just really dedicated his life to playing backgammon, to getting better at it, to becoming, a guy that could compete in tournaments and just really be perhaps a professional backgammon player. So he goes over that a while. And he says, last month in Monte Carlo, Monaco, I attended the Backgammon World Championship. And he talks about there were 72 players in his division. He made it all the way to the championship final. The match was streamed live. And he posts a YouTube link about this. And I will post that in the description here. He says, my father's final words of encouragement are now complete. World champion. Wow. It still hasn't fully sunk in. I know my dad is looking down proudly. For anyone out there currently suffering depression or loss of a loved one, I hope my experience can bring you hope or encouragement. Message me if you'd like to talk. A special thank you to all the incredible, supportive, and amazing people I have met throughout the backgammon community over the past 2 years. You gave me help, support, and friendship when I needed it most. I'm forever grateful. Each and every one of you share in this. Love and gratitude, Tommy. So, as I suspected, there was nothing about the Intellivision Amico. And the passing of his father occurred, when the Intellivision Amico ship was, fully sinking. And I'm sure that must have been a horrible time for him. And I would imagine a lot of the depression had to do with the Intellivision Amico stuff too. So my hope is that he'll mention the Intellivision Amico at some point if he's back on social media periodically. And it's entirely possible his lawyers have told him, don't apologize for it or don't go into specifics or whatever. I don't know. I mean, maybe there's some liability issues there, considering there were investors that didn't get their money back, considering there were people that put in pre-orders for the Amico that didn't get their money back. If you've never heard of the Intellivision Amico, this was this failed potential console, never came out, and it was going to be retro reimagined games inspired by the Intellivision console, the system that was test marketed in 1979 and came out in 1980, and that I grew up having very fond memories of playing. And for those of you who don't know, I met Tommy Tallarico in the 2000s, back when we would go to the Classic Gaming Expo. A lot of us OG gamers, that was our mecca, Classic Gaming Expo in Las Vegas. That was amazing. Guys like Joe Santulli, John Hardy would put on this amazing convention. That's where I met Leonard Herman and Michael Thomason and a lot of the OG guys, Sean Kelly. Just a great show, and I met Tommy then, and we became friends later, and things just sort of blew up over the Amico, as you guys very well aware of. But I just wanted to say, you know, Tommy's back on social media, and he had a lot of comments on this post, a ton of them, all very supportive. More than 500, let's say around 550 likes, 217 comments, 4 shares. Before he made it private, it was public at first and got some shares, but then it went private. Respectfully, you know, if you want to comment on this situation, positive or negative, feel free to do so. Hopefully he'll say something about the Amico in not too distant future in a post, but I don't really look for it. I think he's trying to put that chapter behind him, and like I said, I don't know how much he's allowed to say, but whatever the case, I love you guys and appreciate all your support. And yeah, crazy, huh? And, you know, I get the whole thing about, you know, going off social media after the passing of a loved one. It sounds like him and his father were really close. But the timing with the Amico, that made it, you know, pretty convenient to get off social media as well, not facing all that. I get that too. So anyway, let me know what you think. We'll talk to you in another video.